Welcome to my fourth video on business, entrepreneurship and Vedic astrology. And today I am going to speak again on business, small business and entrepreneurship, and how Vedic astrology can be related in understanding exactly what you want to do in your life, and also how can you understand about business and entrepreneurship from a horoscope. Now there are my previous video was on all this on business, entrepreneurship and understanding the about the first house, the third house, the seventh house, the 11th house, and also about the second house. So today I am going to talk about the movement of planets, and the position of the planets. What happens when the main house, from which you understand that whether how successful you will be in the business or entrepreneurship. So I'm going to talk about the seventh house from the Ascendant or the Lagna, and what happens when the Lord of the seventh house is placed in other different houses. Now there are several parameters to understand the type of likings which you have on a particular subject. It may be from your D10, it may be from your D7, and also from the Ashtak Varga, from the Shat Bala, the position of the planets, the exaltation of the planets or the debilitation of the planets, what degree the planets are there, the nakshatras in which the planets are positioned. There are a lot of things in which to determine that, but today I am going to discuss on in general about what happens when the seventh lord, which is the lord of your legal contracts, your legal partnerships, is placed in other different houses. So let me come to a point where I can tell you that what exactly how these planets are placed and what are the implications it has in your life. See, the views expressed by me may not match with other fortune tellers or astrologers, but this I have are based on my experience of last 11 years of reading this subject and seeing innumerable horoscopes. So what I found out that when the seventh lord is placed in the first house, then what happens is you are more prone in doing business on your own. I mean, you should be at the top, or you wanted to do something which it will be only about you or focusing you. I mean, it will not be like you are sharing some partnerships with some other people, or you are making a lot of partners into that. It will not basically be of that kind. It will be something where you are trying to do something on your own. Though the first house is a lot of it sees a lot of parameters, but it is about something where you wanted to have the full control over that business or entrepreneurship. So anything which if you are a writer, or if you are a publisher or something like that, or you are a top class mathematician, or you are something where you are an astrologer, it is also you are doing on your own. So things which generally there are a lot of things which people do on your own. So that actually which can be determined if this seventh lord comes in the first house. So it's all about taking full control or ownership of that. This is one aspect. There can be other aspects also. Now, if the seventh lord is placed in your second house, then what happens is that means that you will either try to do entrepreneurship with your family members, or there has been a small business which is continuing you come and you wanted to take it over, or it has been given to you, so that it is something where, like that, you grow up into that small business. So this is also a situation where you work jointly with your smaller cousins or any family members. Especially you tend to get a lot of support from the younger members of your family, and sometimes it might be very sudden also, but it depends again based on whether the planet which is ruling the seventh house, in what position it is, whether and what is the conjunction, if there is any aspects conjunction, what is happening. But this is just general I am speaking, so this might be one of the thing which can happen with you. Now what happens when this seventh lord sits in the third house from the ascendant? Now what is the third house? Now generally most of the people, or most of the astrologers and fortune tellers will have a say that yes, third house is something very difficult house, challenges and those. But as in my previous videos or in the writings or articles which I have written, you will find that the third house is all about motivation. So it is something which has to do with a lot of inspiration. It has to do with the motivation which breaks off the challenges which are in front of you. So it is quite clear that when the seventh lord, if it is in the third house, you might become a very good motivational speaker. You see, all people cannot become good speakers, because it needs a skill, it needs a set of art, it needs a way to approach. So there's a lot of things which matters, and especially with reference to motivation, inspiration, and these type of things which uplifts your mood, or uplifts the mood of the other people, that needs a lot of skill. So when this type of combination generally happens, when the seventh lord moves and crosses over and is placed in your third house, you tend to become a bit different from others. In your subconscious mind, you are a motivation person. You think about motivation and a type of self-motivator, and you try to motivate also the people who are in front of you. So maybe you become an entrepreneur, on which you are an inspirational speaker, you are a motivator, or you help bigger organizations. That's the thing. Or your presence helps bigger organizations, and that gains profit. So this can be one of the entrepreneurship ways, or business ways in which if the seventh lord comes to the third house. Now coming to the point, if the seventh lord is placed in your fourth house. Now what happens when the seventh lord is placed in your fourth house? Now this generally means that you would tend to have a very good business. You will be business oriented, you will have in your subconscious mind, but it would be pushed forward through your spouse. Your spouse will also help you to get comfortable in the business. If not, the seventh lord is afflicted. Okay. And that also means that you will also, regarding any contracts and all, you'll be guided by the people who are closer to you, and also businesses in which if it is a planet like moon which is sitting, the seventh lord coming to the fourth house, then you'll be also prone towards based on those signs also, like water, entrepreneurship on those. If it is like Venus, it will be fragrances, or something on other things on beauty, and lot of or vehicles. So it depends on that, but it will be basically a comfort zone a place which would be a comfort zone for you. If you go with the seventh lord in the fourth house. In fact, there are a lot of parameters to understand that also. The other thing is that if the seventh lord is placed in the fourth house, you'll be contented in your business. You love to do the business, but somewhere you have to have that push, to move it forward. That is required, and maybe the persons who actually like you, or your spouse, can give you that motivation to go forward and just do it. So now let me come to another fact, that if the seventh house is placed in the fifth house, the fifth house from the ascendant. Now here, let me tell you that when the seventh lord is placed in the fifth house of the ascendant, you will be a very creative person, and your business will be on creativity. So any sort of artistic work, painting, beautification, and a lot of things can be understood from this type of combinations. Not only that, you will also tempt to open up schools, colleges, universities, and you may be an entrepreneur on that also, like opening up a small educational institute where you do some coaching for the students. Even that is also is possible if the seventh lord is placed into the fifth house. There are also other things, but it has to be seen with other parameters, how the seventh lord is placed, with whom the seventh lord is placed, what is the degree it is placed, and what is the nakshatra it is placed. So and the Ashtak Varga of the seventh lord. So it has a lot of parameters, but in general, these are the small things by which you can understand that exactly what you are prone to in doing an entrepreneurship. Now coming to the seventh lord in the sixth house. Now this is a very interesting case. Now the seventh lord in the sixth house means actually the seventh lord is 12th from itself. So basically it's a bigger challenge. It brings a bigger challenge to you. But irrespective of the challenge, you will feel that seventh lord in the sixth house, that you are prone to some pharmaceutical products and pharmaceutical Ayurvedic systems. All these things, with entrepreneurship on that. So maybe you take up any agencies from Ayurvedic, any organizations, or not only Ayurveda. It can be any medicinal pharmacy companies, and or you open up a medical store, or you wanted to open up a chain of medical store of your own. Once you make up, and then a chain of medical store of your own. So these are the things which can be a part of motivation for you, to move forward and go and do it. So some of you who have these combinations may think that they may not be interested in the medical side, but I told you that it can be different types of encouragement, because you have to also see the exaltations of the planet, any planets, what are placed in and how it is placed in that chart. But generally these are the things which can come to you or come to your mind. Now what happens when the seventh lord is placed in the seventh house? Now when seventh lord is placed in the seventh house, generally you are a very good lawyer, or you are a very good advocate. You can, and many people of this horoscopes generally open up a legal advocacy consultancy, or legal consultancy. They have their own consultancy. They run a business. They hire also advocates. They have a chain of advocates whom they wanted to hire. So like that, the business thrives. So it's all about legal things on a particular matter. So some of them are very specific. Like some of them open up a legal consultancy on food. some on other sectors. So that depends on what type of planet are sitting in that house, and what is that planet is what is that planet basically is all about. So this is the thing which can happen when the seventh lord is in the seventh house. Coming to another thing, when the seventh lord is in the eighth house. Now what happens when the seventh lord is in your eighth house? Now this is also very interesting, because here you can most of the people observe that they're in touch with their family members, or initially the family members might help, but they are also very good in as private detectives. Like it comes to them suddenly that I know about this, that this why this person had done that, or what exactly, or going deep into the thing. So that means that any type of private agencies which or security agencies, or private agencies dealing with detective services, or such type of things are looked forward with this combination also. Also, these type of people also, like you have seen that tube wells, which are bored deep down, So you have a lot of pipes, or such type of business on tube wells, or going deep inside, or something on boring deep inside, boring deeper instrument. This type of with this they can make a lot of income through all these modes. It's not about those pipelines, oil and gas pipelines which are just over, or it is deep, but some of the oil and gas pipelines moves or is placed over the ground. It's not about that. I'm talking about the pipelines or the tube wells, based on that. Even bigger who has a lot of finance, people who has a lot of finance, they go into opening up their own mining institute, or something like that, where they teach about, or where they wanted to extract material, how to extract material, from the ground, below the ground. So this is one of the things how it happens when the seventh lord is in the eighth house. Now when the seventh lord goes to the ninth house, now here this person can do entrepreneurship, or is looking forward to entrepreneurship as a travel agent, long distance travel agents. People loves to travel, and if you see that many people in this world, they put some of their income for traveling purpose to different places. Some likes to go to some offbeat places, where nobody has gone. Now for small travels, it is generally like if the seventh lord in the third house. But when the seventh lord comes into the ninth house, it's all about long travels. So these persons are very good about giving informations about the how to do the travel. What are these places located. Apart from that, they are into spirituality, so they can do an entrepreneurship on spirituality also. Spiritual writings, or spiritual singings, or any spiritual type of artistic work, it's based on those. So basically, the seventh lord in the ninth house deals with mostly with this also. When the seventh lord is in the 10th house, now what happens when the seventh lord goes to the 10th house? Now this is basically excellent for all types of business. This is also a type of yoga, and it's a very good yoga where the seventh lord is in the 10th house. So business brings a lot of profit or limelight for you. So any legal contracts which you do generally is into limelight. If not, the seventh lord is afflicted and placed in your 10th house. That has to be seen, or that has to be observed, about what is the connection with the seventh house with other planets, seventh lord with other planets, and how is the seventh lord placed, whether it's debilitated or exalted, or what degree it is placed. But generally this is a very good combination. It helps a lot in business. So all types of business, basically, it can be a vehicle business, motor vehicles business, it can be a business on housing, realty estate, it can be anything, but it is a good combination for that. It can be on entrepreneurship on that. Now what happens when the 7th lord is placed in your 11th house? Now when the 7th lord is placed in your 11th house, now see, it's all about wish fulfilling, because 11th house, like, what happens is any bigger organizations, a bigger organizations has goals to reach. You are the person which through your own creativity help to reach that particular goal. It also about dealing with some sort of entrepreneurship with your elder brothers or elder siblings or any elder person in the family. Here also you are very creative. If this placement is there, you are very creative in the type of business what you do. So 7th lord, it depends also, what is the 11th lord, and how is the 11th lord connected to the 7th lord, and also it depends on what is the 11th house, what zodiac is the 11th house. So based on that, you try to take up those type of entrepreneurships based on the type of the planets, and generally it can be also called a type of family business which you wanted to go through. Now what happens when this 7th lord goes to the 12th house? Now here you see the 7th lord has gone to the 12th house, and according to the Bhavat Bhavan concept, it is actually 6 from the 7th house. So situations are a bit challenging also here when the 7th lord goes to the 6th house, into the 12th house, but it has mostly to do with a foreign connections. You are into trade or entrepreneurship with some foreign companies. It can be on spirituality, it can be on traveling, it can be anything, but basically there is a foreign connection to it. So this is also a very good combination if you take it positively. If you keep aside those challenges aside. The challenges are everywhere. All this, what I said, like the first house, the second house, the third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth house, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, every house has its own challenges. It's not that it's a very smooth way to go through when you go through a small business, entrepreneurship, and when you talk about business, it has challenges. But definitely look at the positive side, that it has foreign connections. So suddenly you find that you are doing entrepreneurship, you are facing the challenge, and some foreign company find it very interesting and trying to invest on that. So that's good, basically. So this is all about the 7th lord placed in different houses. You can read my articles, the link is given below, and I hope you will like reading my articles, and also you may love watching these video articles. And I would request you, please subscribe, and I look forward to my next video on business and entrepreneurship. Till then.